Welcome, Warren Cox here again, trying to help you shine brighter. Today we're going to go over a few charisma mistakes to avoid when on doors. Here's one of the big ones: is just reading negative intent in ambiguous situations. A lot of times we'll have customers that'll approach us with an objection or a concern, and we'll take it almost negatively, like I'll be reactive to it. So don't always read negatively into it. A lot of times when you're new, especially, you don't realize that some of these concerns or questions or objections are actually huge buy-in questions, right? So start to learn how to handle these, but don't read negatively into every situation, into every ambiguous situation. Another huge one is sarcasm requires a tell. When you're new to this, or even when you're experienced, sometimes we don't realize, like actors almost on camera, they almost have to overly do it, right? It's kind of weird when you see yourself, you look almost toned down when you see yourself on camera. Customers see the same thing, right? So if you're being sarcastic in a funny way, don't be sarcastic in a rude way. But if you are actually being sarcastic in a nice way, a fun way, make sure that you're giving a good tell. Make sure they know. Make sure you're being a little overly letting them know that you're being sarcastic in a good way, right? Have fun with it, but sarcasm requires a tell. Otherwise, if you're being sarcastic, you're just a jerk, right? You should not jump on every opportunity to praise yourself or relate yourself, right? For me, when I was new, I loved baseball when I was young. I was a high-level baseball player. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to be when I grew up. Life leads to different and better things for me, honestly. But playing baseball was one of those where if I knew somebody was a baseball player or they brought up baseball, hey, you look like you played baseball, I would immediately jump into telling them about my baseball history and what I did and how awesome baseball is and what did they do, right? Don't bring or don't jump to every opportunity to praise yourself, right? Make sure you don't over-exaggerate yourself or why you're doing this. People don't really want to hear about you. The more they're talking about themselves. The reality is the more that they're liking you, the more that they're starting to trust you and build confidence in you. So don't bring every opportunity to speak about yourself, and more so, try to get people to speak about themselves a little bit. Where are they from? That helps you gather information as well, rather than just jumping to, hey, cool, I'm like this guy. He played baseball too. We're both awesome. He's going to love me, right? That's not really how it works. You should not try to win each moment of banter. A lot of times people are going to bring up something they don't like about solar, and they might be right. There's a lot of things about solar that might not be ideal for every person in every situation. You don't have to win each moment of banter. If somebody wants to win something, then let them win that sometimes. It doesn't mean you don't have a sale, right? Don't jump to every single one where you feel like you need to just really go hard onto that objection before you move on, Don't feel like you have to win each moment of banter. We're not here to win each battle. We're here to win the war, right? We're here to make sure that the people get what they need out of solar, they get what they want out of solar, and they're in a better situation with solar when they become their environmental hero, right? So don't just jump to conclusions and try to win every moment of banter. Another one is handling conflict improperly. When I was new, I had this guy. I showed up. I had driven an hour to the appointment. He was adamant. I actually called him right before I left to make sure it was solid. When I showed up, he had dinner cooking, and then he says, "Hey, I don't want you. I don't want to sit down." We made up our minds after I'd driven an hour. I handled that very improperly. I was not the nicest. I was kind of rude about it. I said, "Hey, I drove an hour. That's kind of rude." I was not the nicest to him. It did not work out well for me. It never does. So make sure you handle conflict properly. If somebody's being confrontational or something like that, a lot of times it's best to pack up and leave. Or if somebody, doesn't want to hear your pitch and they're adamant about it and you woke a sleeping baby, be apologetic and walk away. Make sure you handle, conflict properly. Don't make it worse and think it's justified because that person was a jerk. Remember, a lot of times we're intruding on their space we're at that dog's doorstep, right? So a lot of times they're going to be confrontational. Make sure you handle it in the right way, and you move on and you leave on the best terms. And a lot of times it leaves those doors open too. So make sure you never handle conflict improperly. Hope this helps again. Make sure you keep continuing to shine brighter. Appreciate your time.